Hey everyone, well, this was unexpected. I know there are a lot of people out there who already have been turned off by this series, but I was pleasantly surprised by this episode. And I actually want to just give kudos to the people who have commented on my past reviews of this series, because some of you liked it and some of you didn't like it. And you all kind of chimed in with your thoughts on like why it was working, why it didn't, what I might have missed, what you thought was working really well. And I love that kind of discussion when it comes to story principles and actually people being able to disagree about a series or a film or a story and do it in really constructive ways. And it was a lot of fun chatting with you guys about it. So thank you for that. I love your comments so much. All right. So Agatha, all along episode 5, it's out. And it feels like the writers were actually listening to my complaints about the last few episodes. So I gotta ask, did this series just catch fire? I know, I'm such a dork. I'm such a child. Here's why Agatha might finally be on the upswing. Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power addresses most of the issues that were bothering me about the earlier episodes as the witches were completing the beginning of the trials. There is more action in this episode. The pacing has improved. There's more character development. And there's also finally a lot more magic. So let's break it down to see how they solve these issues and if Disney and Marvel can sustain this level of storytelling, which means there definitely going to be spoilers. So if you haven't watched yet and you don't want to be spoiled for episode 5, stop this video here and come back later after you've seen it because I definitely want to know what you think. All right, so let's get into it. This episode starts as usual on the road, but we jump straight into the witches realizing that the Salem Seven are on their trail, and Agatha admits that yes, the Seven are actually after her. They still look kind of like they're wearing Halloween capes, but honestly, I guess there's only so much you can do with a black cape, but still, their faces and masks are actually dramatically improved from the original appearance of them that we got. Plus, the way they move is super creepy with like the weird disjointed movements. And some of the fights with the members with the Seven actually do a pretty good job of ramping up the tension in the series, but still a little bit light on the magical razzle dazzle when dealing with the Seven. Now, the group is actively on the run, and that drives the pacing of the episode and breaks that formulaic feel of the last few episodes in the series, which definitely made me happy. This was my first glimmer that episode 5, and you know I'm going to do it, was catching fire. I know, I'm such a child. I'm such a child, and that joke is just never going to grow old. Maybe it'll grow old. No, it's not going to grow old. All right, back to the review. All right, guys, as I mentioned before, the road has this special connection to witches, which gives even powerless witches like our coven some amount of magic. So they break out the broomsticks and fly to the next challenge house. And Teen very wisely asks why they didn't just fly from the start, but that kind of gets glossed over and answered a little bit, but they don't dig into it too much. He is clearly the smartest character in the series, and I realize that he is the reason I keep watching. I really like him. In every episode, we get a deeper glimpse into who he is because he is the wild card character in the show, and he has something to reveal, and that is very interesting. The next trial house is a 1980s sleepover party with a Ouija board. While we didn't get any 80s music, which was a bummer, the house did come with two ghosts who are tied to Agatha, making this her trial. And let's face it, what kind of witch story would this have been if there weren't a haunted house along the path? So that's definitely a plus for me. I also love that Agatha's trial wasn't the last one on the road because that would have been way too perfect for a setup. So the ghosts, they want Agatha punished for what she's done. And finally, because of the ghosts, we have a real conflict that reveals deeper truths about Agatha. and directly adds to her character development and tie back to the other glimmers of emotions that she revealed, but were never really fully developed. I still think that holding back those most compelling aspects of Agatha's character development from the first episodes was a mistake, because that's how you create audience empathy, which makes us feel more invested in Agatha's need to regain her power. Finally, hidden things are revealed about Agatha more explicitly, about who she is as a person, because they touch the core of who she is, showing her internal conflict and her pain, which she always keeps hidden. And that makes her more compelling. We wanted to root for her all along, but until now, that was really hard to do because they had made it really hard for us to care about her. But now we're starting to care. We see a flashback of Agatha as a child, surrounded by her family, these people that she should have been able to trust, people who were supposed to protect her. But instead, they betray her and try to kill her. This ties to her anger at Rio as well, who betrayed her in the past. In that flashback with her family, we see how their magical attack actually triggers Agatha's magical ability to absorb a witch's power, resulting in their deaths. Then we see her power trigger again in this episode as Alice tries to save Agatha from one of those ghosts. With Alice's magic coursing through her, Agatha is unable to stop herself from absorbing the other witch's power. Agatha actually seems truly upset at killing Alice, and I believe it was unintentional. I believe she couldn't stop herself at that point. For whatever reason, she couldn't turn off the process, making her more like a psychic vampire than a witch. And Teen and the others are just in shock, looking at Alice, staring at her, that frankly, unbelieving that she's dead. And we even see that same look of revulsion at her own actions on Agatha's face as she runs out of the house. Pain, regret, horror, they're all there. But she quickly suppresses them when Teen comes out to confront her. This is the greatest moment of character development so far for Agatha, as she tells Teen in this honest moment that she couldn't stop. But he doesn't believe her. At his rejection, she puts up that facade again and puts on that wicked, uncaring cover to kind of push back her pain and her desperation at what she did. She tops it all off with this super snarky comment that Teen is just like his mother. And in that moment, it is absolutely confirmed that Teen is not her son. That's not really a surprise at this point, since we just saw that Nicholas's ghost is in the trial house. So it really couldn't have been Teen. And it's just good to get that out of the way, put that up front. However, as Teen stares in shock at Agatha in that moment, Jennifer, the potions witch, and Lilia, the medium, physically pick her up off the road and toss her into the soft, boggy earth, which just kind of pulls her in like it did Mrs. Hart and swallows her alive. But let's face it, there is no way that Agatha dies halfway through her own series. So the question is, how does she get out of it? I'm guessing that's what we're going to deal with at the beginning of the next episode. Something in that process activates something in Teen, causing his own hand to start glowing with this blue power. And a crown similar to Wanda Maximoff's crown appears on his head. And with little effort, he tosses the two witches off the road and into the same boggy area that they threw Agatha. This confirms Teen's identity as Wiccan or Billy Maximoff. So could Agatha all along be Billy's origin story? Did Billy even know who he was the whole time? Did he place the hex on himself to keep him from revealing his identity to Agatha so that she would help him? Did he just outmaneuver her in true Maximoff style? And what does that mean? The episode ends on this cliffhanger and all these new questions that it raises about Teen, about Agatha, and even about Wanda. What is Teen's greatest wish? Is it to bring back his mother? If so, what will that mean for Agatha or Rio when they reach the end of the road and they realize their greatest desires? Also, given Agatha's reaction to killing Alice, is her greatest desire going to be to get her power back? Or might it be to control her power? Or will she want to restore Nikki? I mean, she's only got one choice. So what does she choose? Suddenly, Agatha All Along's formulaic structure is cracking. I am actually relieved by this because this addresses the predictability issue of the story and how it might end. And those breadcrumbs for each potential ending are now in place. So there is a good chance that the ending will actually be interesting and even feel earned. If so, maybe Agatha All Along actually has a chance of ending on a high note. So, what did you think of episode 5? Did you like it? Is it hitting the notes that you want to see? Is it fulfilling? You know, everybody has a different view of these things. Stories are subjective, so I could be wrong. Definitely want to hear what you have to say, especially since this episode really is the most interesting one of the series so far. Definitely add your reaction below in the comments and let's chat. And while you're here, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much. That's it for now. I'll see y'all again soon. Until then, happy viewing. Bye.